Hiking to St. Mary's Glacier, Arapaho National Forest, Colorado. By Brian Hamilton. Discover St. Mary's Glacier Trail, a stunning 1.5 to 2 mile hike near Idaho Springs, Colorado. Enjoy subalpine forests, a pristine lake, and a year-round snowfield, perfect for families seeking alpine adventure. Introduction. Nestled near Idaho Springs, Colorado, St. Mary's Glacier Trail is a breathtaking alpine escape, perfect for adventurers seeking a short yet stunning hike. This 1.5 to 2 mile round trip, with 500 to 1,000 feet of elevation gain starting above 10,000 feet, offers a moderate challenge ideal for families, beginners, and seasoned hikers alike. Its proximity to Denver in the Front Range makes it an irresistible half-day outing, delivering a taste of the Rockies' grandeur without a full-day commitment. The trail winds through subalpine forests of ancient bristlecone pines, where rocky paths open to vibrant wildflower meadows in summer and golden hues in fall. In less than a mile, you'll arrive at St. Mary's Lake, a crystal-clear alpine gem perfect for a serene picnic or a daring, icy plunge. Beyond lies the trail's crown jewel, the Glacier, actually a semi-permanent snowfield that shifts with the seasons. Unlike true glaciers, which flow as compressed ice rivers, this snowfield waxes and wanes, occasionally vanishing in rare dry years. In winter, it becomes a sledding haven, drawing crowds to its gentle slopes. With jaw-dropping views of Mt. Evans and the Continental Divide, St. Mary's packs diverse terrain and year-round beauty into a compact adventure. The high altitude demands hydration and weather awareness. Check forecasts for nearby James Peak to stay prepared. Whether you're chasing summer blooms, snowy thrills, or a quiet moment by the lake, this trail invites you to connect with Colorado's wild heart. Pack up what you pack in, and let St. Mary's spark unforgettable memories in the Rockies' timeless embrace. 287 words. Fun fact, St. Mary's is not actually a glacier, it is instead a semi-permanent snowfield. The difference between the two has to do with ice pack and movement. Glaciers are essentially compressed rivers of ice that change shape as they move. A snowfield doesn't change shape as one unit, it gets smaller and larger depending on weather, not because of compact ice underneath. Although rare, St. Mary's has completely melted before. Directions to the trailhead. Reaching St. Mary's Glacier Trail is a breeze, making it an ideal getaway from Colorado's Front Range cities. Located near Idaho Springs, just 45 minutes from Denver, the trailhead is easily accessible via Interstate 70. Whether you're coming from the east or west, take exit 238 onto Fall River Road, marked by clear signage for St. Mary's Glacier. This paved road climbs steadily north for approximately 9 to 10 miles, winding through scenic mountain terrain. Keep an eye out for the turnoff to St. Mary's Drive/Alice Road on your left, which leads directly to the trailhead parking area. The journey offers glimpses of the Rockies' rugged beauty, setting the stage for your adventure. At the trailhead, you'll find 2 parking lots on private land, a lower lot and an upper lot closer to the trail's start. Parking costs $20 per vehicle per day, cash or check only, as of 2025, so have funds ready and a pen to note your license plate number on the permit, which must be displayed on your dashboard. Fines for roadside parking are steep, so stick to the designated lots. Restrooms are available for convenience. For a bonus, stop by the nearby Lake Quivira viewing platform to soak in panoramic vistas before or after your hike. Be mindful that the initial trail section crosses private property, stay on the marked path to respect landowners who've graciously allowed access for decades. Check road conditions in winter, as snow may affect Fall River Road, though it's typically plowed. With straightforward access, your St. Mary's adventure starts smoothly, leaving you free to savor the alpine splendor ahead. Scales and criteria. This guide describes a snow-free hike on St. Mary's Glacier Trail, June-September, a 1.5 to 2 mile round trip with 500 to 1,000 feet of elevation gain. In winter, snow may obscure the path, requiring traction devices and navigation skills for safe travel. Always check James Peak weather for current conditions, as high-altitude weather shifts rapidly. Difficulty ratings. Easy, under 3 miles, less than 500-foot elevation gain. Easy moderate, 1 to 5 miles, 500 to 1,000-foot elevation gain. Moderate, 5 to 10 miles, 1,000 to 2,000-foot elevation gain. Difficult, 5 to 15 miles, over 2,000-foot elevation gain. Very difficult, over 10 miles, over 3,500-foot elevation gain. St. Mary's falls into easy moderate, ideal for families and beginners, with rocky terrain and altitude adding challenge. Sturdy shoes and hydration are essential. Field notes. People have been enjoying St. Mary's since at least the 1950s. There was also a ski resort built alongside Fall River Road that operated until the mid-1980s. Because Fall River Road is paved and plowed, the trailhead is often used in the winter as a launch point for mellow backcountry laps near the snowfield. For the more ambitious backcountry skier, the trailhead is the best access point to more technical terrain off James Peak in the wilderness above the snowfield. Another interesting aspect to this hike is the private property. The first part of the hike is not on public land. The landowners have been allowing people to hike there for decades, but be respectful of private property. Public land begins to the north of St. Mary's Lake, including the bluffs guarding the snowfield and the snowfield itself. Although lower in elevation than many hikes in Colorado, St. Mary's is still over 10,000 feet. If you are coming from lower elevations, take your time and drink lots of water. Checking weather beforehand can also help you avoid nasty conditions up high. The weather in Denver is often very different than the weather in the mountains. Here are the best local weather reports to aid in trip planning. James Peak weather, St. Mary's weather. Geology of the trail area. BST. Mary's Glacier Trail offers a front row seat to the geological wonders of Colorado's Front Range, shaped by millions of years of tectonic upheaval, glaciation, and erosion. Situated in the Arapaho National Forest near Idaho Springs, the trail traverses a landscape carved from the ancient heart of the Rocky Mountains, formed during the Laramide orogeny roughly 70 to 40 million years ago. This mountain-building event crumpled the Earth's crust, thrusting up the rugged peaks that define the region, including nearby James Peak, 13,294 feet, and Mt. Bancroft, 13,250 feet, both visible from the trail's higher reaches. The star attraction, St. Mary's Glacier, is actually a semi-permanent snowfield, not a true glacier. True glaciers, like those that sculpted this area during the Pleistocene Ice Age, 2.5 million to 11,700 years ago, are dynamic rivers of compressed ice that flow and reshape the landscape. The St. Mary's snowfield, perched above 10,800 feet, lacks this movement but persists due to consistent snowfall and shaded slopes, occasionally melting in dry years. It sits in a cirque-like basin, a relic of past glacial activity that gouged up the surrounding cliffs and deposited rocky moraines, now visible as the trail's uneven terrain. The bedrock here is primarily Precambrian granite and gneiss, over 1.7 billion years old, exposed by erosion and uplift. These durable rocks form the trail's rocky paths and the dramatic bluffs north of St. Mary's Lake. Look for quartz veins glinting in the sunlight or small outcrops of schist, evidence of intense heat and pressure from ancient tectonic collisions. The subalpine zone, dotted with bristlecone pines, owes its thin soils to glacial till, debris left by retreating ice. Nearby Mt. Evans, a 14,265-foot giant, showcases similar granitic formations, tying the area to the broader Front Range geology. Erosion continues to shape this dynamic landscape, with seasonal snowmelt and streams feeding St. Mary's Lake, a shallow alpine basin. This interplay of ancient rock, glacial scars, and modern weathering creates a geological tapestry that's as educational as it is awe-inspiring, inviting hikers to marvel at Earth's deep history while soaking in the views. Ecology of the trail area. The St. Mary's Glacier Trail, nestled in Colorado's Arapaho National Forest near Idaho Springs, immerses hikers in a vibrant subalpine and alpine ecosystem, thriving at elevations above 10,000 feet. This high-altitude environment, shaped by harsh winters and short growing seasons, supports a unique tapestry of flora and fauna adapted to extreme conditions. As you ascend the rocky trail, you'll traverse a transition zone where subalpine forests give way to open alpine meadows, offering a glimpse into the resilience of life in the Rockies. The trail begins in a subalpine forest dominated by hardy bristlecone pines, some of the oldest living trees on Earth, alongside Engelmann spruce and subalpine fir. These trees, with their twisted forms, withstand fierce winds and thin soils. In summer, the forest floor and meadows around St. Mary's Lake burst with wildflowers, columbine, alpine forget-me-nots, and paintbrush, drawing pollinators like bees and butterflies. Above the tree line, near the snowfield, cushion plants and lichens cling to rocky outcrops, their low profiles resisting wind and cold. These alpine tundra species thrive in nutrient-poor soils, a testament to nature's adaptability. Wildlife is equally remarkable. Mule deer and bighorn sheep occasionally graze the meadows, while marmots and pikas scurry among rocks, their whistles echoing across the slopes. Moose, increasingly common in the area, may be spotted near the lake's wetlands. Overhead, raptors like red-tailed hawks soar, hunting small mammals. The snowfield and lake support minimal aquatic life due to cold temperatures, but seasonal streams foster delicate ecosystems of insects and amphibians. This fragile environment demands respect. High foot traffic, especially on weekends, stresses the tundra's slow-growing plants, so stick to marked trails to minimize impact. Pack out all trash, as per leave no trace principles, to protect water sources like St. Mary's Lake. Climate shifts are reducing the snowfield's size, threatening this delicate balance. By treading lightly and staying aware, check local wildlife alerts before hiking, you'll help preserve this ecological gem for future adventurers to marvel at its beauty and biodiversity. Trail description. The St. Mary's Glacier Trail, a 1.5 to 2 mile round-trip hike near Idaho Springs, Colorado, delivers a compact yet stunning journey through subalpine and alpine terrain, with 500 to 1,000 feet of elevation gains starting at 10,400 feet. Ideal for families and hikers of all levels, this moderately challenging trail features rocky paths, a pristine lake, and a year-round snowfield, all accessible within a half-day outing from the Front Range. From the trailhead off St. Mary's Drive, the wide, well-marked path heads northwest through a subalpine forest of bristlecone pines, Engelmann spruce, and fir. The rocky terrain demands sturdy footwear, with loose stones and occasional steep inclines testing your footing. Early on, pauses reveal sweeping views of Mt. Evans, a 14,265-foot peak looming to the south. In about 0.75 miles, you'll reach St. Mary's Lake, a shimmering alpine basin at 10,800 feet. Framed by cliffs and fed by snowmelt, the lake is a perfect spot for a break, with some adventurous souls braving its icy waters in summer. Respect private property here, as the land up to the lake is privately owned. Continuing northeast, the trail skirts the lake's right side, climbing gently through thick willow patches and open meadows. Wildflowers like columbine and paintbrush dot the landscape in summer, while marmots and pikas may dart across your path. As you ascend above the tree line, the terrain opens to reveal the St. Mary's Snowfield, a semi-permanent feature at roughly 11,200 feet. Unlike true glaciers, it doesn't flow but offers year-round snow for sledding in winter or cautious exploration in summer. Late in the season, the snowfield narrows, so stick to its edges to avoid slick, steep sections. Traction devices are wise for snowy conditions. For those seeking more, an optional ascent beyond the snowfield leads to a vast alpine plain, the gateway to James Peak, 13,294 feet, and Mt. Bancroft, 13,250 feet. This extra credit rewards with expansive views of the Continental Divide. Descent requires care, especially on loose rocks or snow. Kick steps or use traction to prevent slips. The high altitude demands hydration and sun protection, as UV exposure is intense. Check weather forecasts for James Peak, as conditions shift rapidly above 10,000 feet. Stick to the main trail to avoid private property and protect the fragile tundra. With its blend of forest, lake, and alpine vistas, this short trail packs a punch, offering a quintessential Colorado experience for all who tread its path. Extra credit, above the glacier, the terrain blossoms out into a vast alpine plain. The views increase the higher you go. For mountaineers, this is the standard approach to James Peak and Mt. Bancroft, both prominent 13,000-foot mountains on the Continental Divide. As you descend, take your time admiring the landscape and be wary of loose rocks. If descending on the snow, wear traction devices, or take time to kick your heels into each step to mitigate the risk of sliding. At a manageable 2 miles of round-trip effort, St. Mary's is a great way to explore unique Colorado terrain without committing to a full day of adventure. About the author, Brian Hamilton, an engineering geologist and adventure writer, shares his outdoor experiences on Summitborn.com. He has been in the engineering and construction field for over 35 years. He holds a bachelor's degree in geology from the University of Illinois and a master's degree in geological engineering from South Dakota Mines. With a geological engineering background, he provides unique insights into nature, adventure sports, and gear through engaging articles, trail guides, and creative storytelling. A certified professional geologist, Brian lives in Philadelphia. Explore beyond limits, with confidence. You're deep in the backcountry, miles from the nearest trailhead, and an unexpected injury turns your dream hike into a nightmare. What's your plan? Enter Global Rescue. With 24/7 field rescue and medical evacuation services, you're never truly alone, even in the most remote wilderness. Whether it's a twisted ankle, altitude sickness, or an emergency that requires urgent care, Global Rescue's expert teams are ready to act when you need them most. Immediate on-site assistance. Evacuation to your hospital of choice. Coverage in over 195 countries. Don't let the fear of the unknown stop you from exploring the trails you love. Adventure is unpredictable, but your safety doesn't have to be. Join Global Rescue today and hike without hesitation. Visit globalrescue.com to secure your membership now. Join now! Venture beyond. Your next adventure starts here. Dreaming of your next outdoor adventure or just craving some armchair escapism? Here are some ideas to ignite your wanderlust and guide your journey. Solitude as a goal, running to nature to live a simple life. Discover the transformative power of nature as we explore how running through serene landscapes can lead to a simpler, more fulfilling life. Learn practical tips for embracing solitude and reconnecting with yourself. How to plan a mountain climbing weekend in Moab, Utah. Gear up for adventure with our step-by-step guide to planning the ultimate mountain climbing weekend in Moab. From choosing routes to packing essentials, we've got you covered. Desert Escapes, Top 10 Weekend Getaways from Phoenix. Craving a quick escape from Phoenix? Explore our curated list of the top 10 desert getaways, each offering unique experiences from stargazing to hot springs. Adventurer's Guide to Arches National Park, Utah. Uncover the wonders of Arches National Park with our Insider's Guide. From iconic hikes to hidden gems, get ready to experience Utah's Red Rock paradise like never before. Escape the city, 10 perfect weekend getaways from Los Angeles. Need a break from LA's hustle? Check out our top 10 weekend getaways, ranging from coastal retreats to mountain hideaways, all within a few hours' drive. The final escape, outrunning the ghosts of the Never Summer. Join us on a poignant journey through the Never Summer wilderness, where two adventurers confront personal demons and find solace in the rugged beauty of the mountains. These articles blend practical advice, inspiring stories, and destination guides to fuel your next adventure, or simply let you dream of wide-open spaces from the comfort of home. How to ski all year in Colorado. Skiing the floating mountain of Mount Rashiri, Japan. Exploring the wonders of Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument. Ghost Ship of the Atlantic, the unsolved mystery of the Mary Celeste. Lama Trauma in the Wind River Range. Terms of use, as with each guide published on Summitborn.com, should you choose to this route, do so at your own risk. Prior to setting out, check current local weather, conditions, and land/road closures. While taking a trail, obey all public and private land use restrictions and rules, carry proper safety and navigational equipment, and of course, follow the #LevenoTrace guidelines. The information found herein is simply a planning resource to be used as a point of inspiration in conjunction with your own due diligence. In spite of the fact that this route, associated GPS track, GPX and maps, and all route guidelines were prepared under diligent research by the specified contributor and/or contributors, the accuracy of such in judgment of the author is not guaranteed. Summitborn, its partners, associates, and contributors are in no way liable for personal injury, damage to personal property, or any other such situation that might happen to individuals following this route.